onions are gross, I guess.
I don't put my handhelds in my mouth. Like, I'm fine with it being called an onion. I don't care.
Wait, you haven't put one handheld in your mouth? Not one,
No,
not even as a joke.
mean,
okay.
Nintendo Switch cartridge, yes, to try that
Okay.
out. But other than that, no, I never put a handheld in my mouth. But anyway.
Well, I can't say the same.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to BRB Gaming. You're here with me, Thor.
Stubbs.
And Russ from Retro Game Core.
Oh, my gosh. Russ, welcome back, man. How you doing?
I'm awesome, man. It's, like 7:30 in the night in Hawaii right now, and it's a great time to be alive.
Yeah.
Man, it's been raining nonstop here in Oregon. We went from snow straight to just Oregon rain 24/7. My hot tub is already ruined. It's fine.
Ruined?
Yeah, we've been dipping down to the high 60s in Hawaii. Like, this is our rainy season, and that's cold. Like, once you get to a point where you're acclimated to it, it actually does, like, it feels just as cold as freezing to me, and it's just really weird. There are people who, like in India, you hear about it sometimes, where they freeze to death on the streets, in India. And it's because that temperature swing can be really bad, So.
Yeah, it was negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit here yesterday. So.
Ouch.
Like my truck didn't want to start.
That January transition, man. And Russ, you were saying before the cast that your front door is stuck closed?
Yeah, it's
because of the humidity?
Yeah, well, just the amount of moisture in the air and stuff. Yeah, our door is swollen shut, so we all have to use the side door to get in and out of the house right now.
So you're just stuck inside with your family and all of your handhelds.
Right. Yeah, everyone's got 10 handhelds each. That's it.
That sounds pretty awesome, actually.
You will all play my backlog, kids, and beat.
Turn on retro achievements.
I don't have time to. Right. Right now. People are going to see my profile and be like, that's right, Russ is the best. So welcome back to the cast. You we had you on a few months ago.
It's been a while. Yeah,
it has been a while.
I feel like it's been like summertime. It's been a while.
That's right. I think we did a live cast, like an AMA last.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I think it was right before the Steam Deck, actually. The Steam Deck was announced.
Yeah.
So July?
Yeah. Ah, yes.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
That was a black hole of time. Just the whole Steam Deck thing.
Super busy the last 5 months, 6 months. Jeez, oh, Pete, man. You're crushing the content.
2 to 3 videos a week. It's been nuts.
Yeah, and you're I saw that you hit 100K, which congrats.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Cheers. Have some of my delicious Coke Zero.
I only have water, but yeah.
Not sponsored by Coca-Cola. So you hit 100K and you got a plaque and everything from YouTube. I didn't realize that they send you like a physical, just sort of achievement.
It's funny though, because I was actually super nervous about that, because you have to apply for it and then they check your stuff and make sure you're not violating their terms of service. Because there's people who just upload like low energy stuff, like a beats to study to kind of stuff, right? And so I don't think they get it, but I was nervous because there are people in our community who have not received it at the 100,000 mark because whatever copyright strikes and things like that. Luckily, I've been able to avoid all of those, and so I got through.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and congrats again. We're all stoked for you here in the Retro Handhelds community.
Your ability to actively navigate the avoidance of Nintendo content is amazing. Well done, dude. Well done.
Thank you.
That is the true achievement.
It's not a matter of if, but when. But for now, I'm good. So I'm happy about that.
It's good. It's on the up and up. Well, you've gotten a bunch of new projects sort of in waiting, right? You're going to go full time in August, right? You're retiring from the Navy of 20 some years.
20. Oh, it'll be almost 23 years by the time I retire. But yeah, I'm July 1st. I'm moving over. So,
jeez.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, I just joined for like 4 years for college money, and then I just kept doing it. And so now I'm ready to move on.
That's from writing books to doing retro gaming. That's like, it's a really cool transition. It's
with the military like in between there.
And the military in between.
Yeah, it's just stacked, you know. Like I did a lot of tours like in the training world too. You know, I'm a linguist by trade, so I spent a lot of time teaching Russian to other people and stuff like that. And so those skills helped me with recipe writing, which is kind of the same thing. You're just walking somebody through something. And then these videos, same thing. You know, I'm just doing the same thing, but in English and not with cooking.
Yeah, and with a little bit of ROMs mixed in. It's good.
Yeah,
it's exactly. Good. So you were saying also in precast when you and I were talking that there's a video coming out about a all in browser emulation, something called like an arcade.
Yeah, WebRcade. So the video's coming out tomorrow. I mean, by the time this posts, it'll obviously have been a while, but so it is a browser-based emulation service. So what you do is you store your own games somewhere, like on Dropbox, like in the cloud, and then you grab those URLs and then embed them into a feed, which is basically like a JSON file, like just a long script. And then you make that basically accessible, like through a URL, and then you load it into their service, and then it allows you to basically access all your games like through Dropbox, like so totally secure and everything else, your own private collection on whatever you want. So on an Xbox web browser or on your iPhone, like without having to install anything. And so right now he's got it up working all the way up through Super Nintendo, and it's flawless, 60 frames, like for everything across the board. And it's not streaming, like it loads the game in and then just plays it. And so there's no, like your internet connection doesn't matter other than just loading it in initially.
So wait, so it's running it off your hardware, right? It's running it off your, so you do have to have like a minimum spec laptop or something, like a minimum spec machine.
Yeah, but everything's got it. You know what I mean?
But it's Chrome, it's SNES.
Yeah. And then so he's working on other things, you know, Nintendo 64 is the goal, and he says it's doable. So yeah.
So he's actually made a DIY cloud-based ROM service, right? But you just provide your own ROMs. Wow, that's another impressive little dance around the legality of all this, you know? Well done.
Yeah. I mean, that is awesome.
And legality aside, just the convenience of it, once you have it set up, and in my video, it takes me about 20 minutes to run through and set up like 4 systems. After that's done, you're done. You just have to memorize the little URL that you make and then type it into whatever. So you know, people who talk about how crappy it is to try to put emulators on an iPhone, like it's done already, 20 minutes, and it's done forever. No skirting around anything. Same thing on your Xbox. Awesome. People don't want to pay for dev mode and all that stuff. Like this is all together in one. So it's pretty awesome.
I wonder if you could implement like
there was a little dev mode drama this week.
Oh, let's talk about that. Yeah. What in the world?
I feel like I had a part to play in that too, which is crappy. But yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes,
Russ, what have you done?
I started getting pinged, and people were like, "Hey, your video is now out of date. You know, look at this GBA temp like forum article." And there's like, you know, dozens of people in there being like, "Yeah, I lost access when I tried to log in today." And and then what's his name, Modern Vintage Gamer, like made a video about it, and I was like, okay, I'll just say something and I'll update my videos like in the comments to say, hey, this may not work anymore. It was still working for me, and so I was like, I don't know, there must be a timed thing there. And so I just kind of wrote it up and said, hey, yeah, maybe there's something going on, but turns out it was a mistake on Microsoft's part.
I mean, I think it's their way to curb emulation, because I got that email. It's like, hey, you haven't uploaded an app to the dev store in 90 days. We're cutting off your access. And I'm like, what? That's crap. You know, for some of us, that's the reason we bought our Xbox Series machine.
Right.
And it's nonsense. And they don't have any sort of, they're not going to turn back the clock on that. It seems like they're just going to leave it in that mode. Unless you're a developer writing an app and uploading and staying active every 90 days, you're screwed.
Right. So then so later that day they came out and said that was all a mistake. We're going to turn it all back on for everybody. And I don't know if it was because of backlash or what, but they said if you want it back sooner, just email them back and they'll take care of it. And so that's why the drama was like there for a minute and then went away. Right? Yeah, so that's all done, you know. Yeah.
So they did go back on what they said.
Yeah. They went back on it that same day, like afterwards. And so it was the drama. I thought that's what you guys were talking about. Sorry. But yeah, the drama was there for a minute and then it went away. And then I was like, well, now I'm left with this me being like reactionary or something, you know? And so I had to make a comment and say, okay, stand down. Don't get mad. And
everything's fine.
back. Yeah. I'm still getting comments though on my videos like, hey, this didn't age well. I'm like, actually it did. It still works.
Yeah. No, that's news to me. So I guess I just have to write to Microsoft and be like, hey, please enable my software emulation.
Yeah.
Sort
and
of
you shouldn't have to pay $20 again or any of that stuff.
Okay. That's good.
Well, the drama I was referring to was all of the excitement in the Discord for the actual RetroArch retail, right? Because people had a fucking stroke about this. I mean, they were stressed about it, and I mean, I understand it. They put their $20 in so they could play RetroArch, but damn, they were pissed.
Yeah, I get it, and I mean, and like Stubbs, like you said, like I bought my Xbox to make that video. Like, sure, I wanted an Xbox too. You know what I mean? Like, let's not like beat around the bush, but all the same, that's why I bought it. So, yeah.
I mean, Game Pass is good on a few different mediums. It's good on the Xbox, it's good on the browser or your PC, and it's good on something like this GPD XP.
Yeah.
So bringing this up real quick, I got this monstrosity. This thing is a wide boy. I originally bought it on Banggood with your discount code, which I was like $80 off, you know, and then I found out it's like $20 off because they mark it up so much.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? No. I don't know if I want to keep it. So I bought it off Amazon for an obscenely high markup of like $450. Just so I could try it out. And then I'm probably going to return it, to be honest. I like that it runs literally everything. I mean, everything. It's the best retro handheld on the market as far as performance. It has the GPD Win 3 buttons, so that's really nice. I just don't like, for me, I'm constantly hitting that right thumbstick. When I'm trying to hit these face buttons, it's kind of in the way.
Right.
So I just couldn't get into like platforming games or anything. What I did enjoy is Game Pass though. This is an amazing Game Pass machine.
Yeah, basically it turned into my like Xbox handheld, you know. And the unfortunate thing, like I mentioned in my video, is that it's just not tall enough, you know, and so I can't comfortably hold it like this. It feels like weird, like it's falling out of my hands when I'm using it. And so I can't play it in bed, which kind of, I mean, that's a very specific requirement, but all the same, like that's my dream. Halo in bed, and I can't do it.
Well, it's important. Like I can do the RP2 Plus. That's an easy handheld to use in bed. It's just really pick up and play. The same thing with like the Miyoo Mini or the 280V. Yeah. Great bed handhelds. Just end of the day, want to unwind with a couple of rounds of something. Make our way through the game of the month, which this month, by the way, it is Brave Fencer Musashi. How do you pronounce that? I don't know.
I think it's Musashi,
Musashi, and then Warriors or Crusader of Senti and Golden Sun. So, Russ, I know you're not doing Game of the Month, but this is the month to hop on, my friend.
I've been meaning to play Golden Sun for like 20 years. I should probably do that.
Now's your chance. It's only 30 hours. So
the existence in my mind right now is that all it is there's a storm in the village. That's all I've ever seen in that game. Like I've done that 20 times for testing, but never actually played it.
You're already in a storm, like in your own in Hawaii. So just get past it in the game, and maybe you'll bring that reality back to your home.
Yeah,
just somehow. Yeah. Maybe that's how magic works. But the XP is just obnoxious. I don't know what to say. I almost prefer the GameSir and my phone. This is just wide, and the backs of it are. It's ergonomic, but it's something bothers me at the core.
You have your 552 around?
Joy with it. Yeah, so the 552 I got. If you want to compare it.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think that if the XP had like balls at the bottom of it, you know, like just more space like here, I think that would be a lot better, because then your pinky would have somewhere to go. And so right now it's just not there.
It's just not. It's not quite it. I really want them to release another clamshell. But I mean, I can't argue that the quality of the construction is amazing, and this like magnetic thing is kind of satisfying, like you were saying. Like I'm just not going to use the other extensions on it. So and the 552 in comparison, all of a sudden, is a small handheld.
Yeah, right.
all of a sudden it's nice and balanced. Oh, look at that.
It's pretty nice. But if you're going to play Golden Sun, you're going to probably need to play it on the 552.
Yeah, sure.
Such a beautiful screen.
In 2-hour increments because of the battery.
Right.
Yeah, and probably like you're busy as well with like getting a backlog of videos out. So
right. Yeah, there's always a backlog. So
I hope you get through it. So what's in the backlog right now? What's in the pike?
So I have a ton of mini PCs to review, and I love doing mini PCs, but they're all the reviews are kind of the same. It's like, hey, what can it do? Okay, this is what it can do. And I could do that in 2 seconds, but I want to walk people through my experience. And so it ends up taking a lot more time, as you can imagine, like the installation of the game files and everything else, just a lot longer of a process than it is with a handheld. And I got in a kick at some point where everyone was contacting me to send me a review unit. And I just started saying yes to a bunch of stuff just out of the excitement of getting a mini PC. But I should have thought about getting 10 mini PCs is not as fun, right? And so, so now I'm having to balance putting these videos in with my other stuff while keeping the companies at bay who are all like, we sent this to you a month ago. Where's the video? That kind of thing. And so, yeah, just a lot of work. But I really enjoy doing that kind of thing. So,
do you just respond to them with like, deal with it? I'm Retro Game Core.
Not at all. No,
then just
I'm a nice guy.
Drop the phone and I know you're a sweet gentleman, but that's why we like having you around. You're just wholesome and fun and nice to talk to, and you're always in there in the Discord helping people, despite the fact that you probably have a billion other things to do.
Yeah, I try to read through everything in the Retro Game Core channels, and then unfortunately, sometimes in the help section, like I can't get to it in time. Other people help sometimes, or sometimes I have to just go in there and be like, I actually don't know that one. Sorry. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I love jumping in there and just kind of seeing what everyone's up to. So.
Some people get just like obscenely specific questions as of late. I've noticed.
Yeah.
I mean, just like, dang, dude, you wrote a lot of text and I don't have that device. I really wish I could help you,
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's rough. And go ahead.
No, just somebody really wanted to get Game & Watch running in a particular way, like particular Game & Watch files on the RP2 Plus today. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Just let us know. He's like, does that mean I have to figure it out and let everyone else know? I'm like, probably be our hero because it's so niche. It's so niche. Nobody's thought to test Game & Watch.
Right. Yeah, it's there's a medium there, like the balance, and you have to figure out what you can do to help others, and then other times just let people, help themselves, and sometimes that works out. So,
and what we do as mods or admins, come in there and just pin. Like if someone writes something really helpful, like I'm going to pin that, and then later people ask it again and say, you know what, check the pins. We even have an emoji just is called check the pins.
Check the pins.
So
yep.
Just always check the pins. You might already have your question answered. If not, we can link you to a video by somebody, Russ or Taki or anyone in the community. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, on the software backend, we've been working on Lineage for, let's say we got Lineage 15.1 running on the Retroid Pocket 1. All right.
Yeah, you do. Let's talk about that.
It's
I
good.
I don't even have the A19 anymore. I don't have any of those, unfortunately. I can't.
Oh, really?
That's
okay. It's for the best.
But, yeah.
Look at these.
Well,
clicky buttons.
We managed to get some of the source code. There you go. Managed to get some of the source code from one of their developers that's not around anymore, and managed to get Lineage 15.1. Just a second. There we go.
Look at that. I'm sure it's incredible. A joy to play.
I'm not.
It's like, honestly, without Google apps on it, if you don't load G apps on it, it's not bad. That 500 megabytes of RAM is garbage, but I mean, it's not bad. If you stick with PlayStation and earlier, I wouldn't. Not with 500 megabytes of RAM. I wouldn't try it. Maybe with a 2D game or something like that, but not Jet Set Radio or something.
Marvel vs. Capcom and Dreamcast should run okay on the RP1, but anything else, I wouldn't push it.
But other than that, we have the A20 SDK now, so we're going to start working on that soon. And we've been working on polishing up lineage for the Retroid Pocket 2 and 351 Droid, and then we're transitioning into the RP2 Plus. So we got a lot going on in the background right now, and definitely some good content for certain YouTubers that might want to do some guide videos. So
might want to.
Yeah, it's one of the things, like I was looking at my feed the other day and I was like, man, I haven't done a good guide video in forever. So all these stacks of things to review, and I want to do like half reviews and then half like tutorials. Like I love doing the guides. And so this WebRcade one that I'm releasing tomorrow, that's mostly a guide. And so I've been in my element all day working on the video. I'm like, this is so
Hell
fun.
yeah.
So absolutely.
Nice.
Now let's talk about why Thor hasn't taken down his Christmas tree. Thor, Christmas is over and it's January, sir. So
here we go.
I still have my tree up, but I unplugged it. So I unplugged it.
So my wife she loves Christmas. All right. Her birthday's at the end of January. And if I gave her the opportunity, she would put that fucking tree up in like early October. Seriously.
Sure.
All right.
Christmas
and
spirit and holiday magic is something to behold.
I love it. And everything smells wonderful all the time when it's Christmas time and all that stuff.
True.
But the deal is that the tree can stay up until her birthday at the end of January. All right. And then it's going to come down.
Deal. I'm gonna check back in on this.
The answer is because I love my wife. All right. That's the answer.
That's a good answer.
Okay. It's the right answer.
My neighbors, January 1st, I go outside at the end of the day of January 1st. All of my neighbors have taken down their Christmas lights. All of them. And I'm like, so I'm the asshole. And I went over and I waited like another week and then I unplugged my lights. They're still up on the house, but I unplugged them. So
dude, that's not how that rolls out here in the Midwest. So, like as soon as it gets cold, people are like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna leave that shit up through February. It doesn't matter.
I know. As I get a little bit older, I'll be more brave and I don't care what people think anymore and just leave the lights year round, like they're just fun. Speaking
some
of
people just leave their Christmas trees up and decorate them for Halloween and 4th of July and stuff out here. So
I'm going to start doing that. That's called efficiency.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
So there's another custom firmware that I would love to see a video on, possibly the Miyoo Mini.
Yes.
Jim Gray yesterday released, which is today's the 8th. So on the 7th, he released Onion OS into the world. He birthed it with a buddy of his. I need to look it up because I better give credit where credit's due. I think his name's Sean.
Yeah, Sean Inman. Yep.
Sean Inman. Yeah, so Sean Inman and Jim Gray made Onion OS, and I haven't loaded on my Mini yet, but I've been following development, and it looks awesome. I just found out today that they figured out how to overclock the CPU on the Miyoo Mini, that's so they're amazing. Going to get some N64 going. Damn. Those guys are nuts on it, and a quick, self promo plug. They're totally using my pictures from I took with my light box of this Miyoo Mini in the branding and in the menu themes. So I'm like, yeah, that's right. Little bit touch of Stubbs.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Onion OS. Yeah. Onion. What's that about? Huh?
So it started as so Sean was working on his new version of the MinUI operating system, which he used on the Trim UI or whatever. Yeah. And he changed it to Union OS is what he was doing. But his font made it look like Onion. So people started making jokes about that. And they started tagging me like, oh, Russ isn't going to like this, And I'm like, I don't really care. Like
onions are gross, I guess.
I don't put my handhelds in my mouth. Like I'm fine with it being called an onion. I don't care.
Wait, you haven't put one handheld in your mouth? Not one, not even as a joke. I mean, okay.
Nintendo Switch cartridge, yes, to try that out. But other than that, no, I never put a handheld in my mouth. But anyway, so and so then it just became a thing. And now they're like their contact address on Onion OS is now onionsarnotgross@gmail.com. And I love it. It's just so awesome.
Oh, the job busting.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is so meta. That is such a community meta thing to happen.
Gosh.
Well, good. So it looks really fun, and I'm going to put a link in the description of the video and in the audio file here. But I can't wait to load it on my Mini and see what we can do with it. The stock OS is okay. RetroArch is so locked down though that it makes it not very much fun for tinkerers. So I heard that they were able to unlock RetroArch and we can start to tinker again. So
there was something about
as soon as I can start
UI,
getting
right?
some guides going. Yeah, and scaling. They got proper scaling and
scaling. Yeah.
Well, all right.
That was good.
I challenge you to a video off. I've not made my own like YouTube guide videos before, but I am inspired and I might make a Onion OS YouTube video guide if I don't see one from a certain YouTuber or YouTubers in the next like week to a month. If enough time goes by, we'll say 2 weeks, then I'm just gonna have to figure out. You're gonna like this, Russ. I got my Russ board. Okay. My green board.
Small.
I know. Hey, it's not the size that.
Is that an A4? What is the size on that?
It's an A4, but I don't have a lot of room on my desk. It's it's
mine is
classic.
My desk,
I can zoom in.
It covers my whole
desk. It's part of the desk.
Yeah.
I have that, and I have a little light box, and I got this whole thing. Got that. This light on a boom arm. So I can film stuff. I got the YouTube starter kit, so I'm ready to. I'm gonna get some views.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I've been thinking about switching up my green mat. Yeah.
What?
Because so it's all cut up and stuff. For me, like dropping my scissors when I unbox things and stuff. And so
it's not self-healing.
It is, but they're not really cuts, they're more like gashes, like I really screwed things up on this thing.
It's self-healing only goes so far.
Yeah, and so I may just get another one, but I might do a different color. I got a black one for Christmas. Someone sent me a black and white one.
Colors. Okay.
Yeah. The problem with the black and white one, it's really great when it comes to color balance. Like it doesn't affect like the the blue to yellow kind of scale on things, which is always a problem I have to deal with green. But it has a lot of problems with the exposure. So it tries to compensate for the amount of black on the screen. And it just doesn't work really well. So yeah, I don't know. I think ideally like a white one with blue stripes might be a good one, or blue grid, but I don't know. Play by ear. I'm in no rush.
I mean, you're making a lot of change-ups and I'm not sure if I'm ready for it because you changed up your music, which I accepted. It took me like 2 videos, then I was like, okay. I like this. This is chill.
It's going to change again, but thanks.
No. Oh, no. And your logo might be updated at some point. And
I mean, let's be honest, though. I put together the logo and the music and everything the day before I started the channel. Like, I was like, I'm bored at home. I was making so much sourdough. I was like, I need to do something. So let's make a quick channel. I just jumped onto like Canva and made that logo,
Yeah.
And it's just, I've outgrown it, I think, and I'll still use the spirit of all that stuff, like it's all important to me and stuff. But and now that I have so much time to think about what everything means, like I want to add more to that. So
cool.
I have a good memory of the logo. I'll never forget the day that I happened to win like a RGC raffle or something, and I got you emailed me that I had won, and then you sent me a sticker for my fridge and like a whole RGC pack of stuff, merch, and that's on my fridge still.
I think you picked the shirt I was wearing in one of my videos.
That's
Dismemberment Plan or something. Yeah. Like that's one of my things. I wear a lot of indie band T-shirts. If someone names the band, then I send them stuff. Like it's pretty cool.
I think it was that, or no. I think actually it was I had named all the videos like you had lined up all the.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I had all the handhelds lined up, and you got them all right. Yeah, that's right.
Not to brag, but yeah, I did. I got another thing for the YouTube starter kit. I got this capture card, so I can plug. It says it's 4K, but it's not. It's like 1080p.
It will accept 4K, and then it'll accept 1080p. Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess it does 60 frames per second, 720p. So that's what I really need to get. So I'm going to capture stuff, and I guess I plug this into the computer, and I plug the other end in my handheld, and I can capture what's going on the screen. So I'm getting big time, and it's going straight to my head. So just watch out. Step on toes. But no, you are an integrated part of our community, and we've sort of affiliated, right? So we have the RGC section of the Retro Handhelds Discord, and you're in there and you're helping people out, and your videos auto post there. So it's like this nice collaboration happening. And
yeah, it's one of the first things that I look at when I post a video, because again,
it's
you
fun.
get the initial one, but then I'm like, okay, what are people going to say about it? And it's like I look there first because people are really honest in that channel when it comes to my videos, where they're like, that was great, or this one didn't hit the mark for whatever reason, for them in particular or whatever. And so I love all that feedback. I love it.
Yep. I think that's
positive feedback too, not swearing in a YouTube comment section as well.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I get so many of those. It's so fun.
Yeah. People are calmed down in the Discord because they already kind of got to know you in there, and they're past that initial phase, like that trust phase. And then they're in the like, hey, I'm just going to share honest feedback, So that's kind of why Discord is a really good medium for chatting and talking to people.
Yeah.
If well moderated.
Right. I get a lot of good comments too, and I try to respond to those too, but it's not as much conversational as it is like in the Discord. You know what I mean? Like we can keep it going, whereas YouTube, it's like I leave a comment, 4 hours later, I see they left a comment, and it's like, that's not the same thing. So.
Yeah. You can kind of do Discord segments of the day. Like, okay, I'm going to hop on Discord for 20 minutes, and you can have a really nice, quick, really good conversation with somebody and then hop right out of it for a day.
Right. Yeah.
Of course, by then you've missed the entire.
Like Stubbs and I do, and just send each other bio memes all day. So.
Yeah. Woke up to some good ones today, so that was. Thank you. I'm like, what in the hell? This weird Squid Game meme. I don't know what that was about, but Japanese game shows are wild. That's what I've learned. Yeah. So Thor, it's Russ and I are just yabbing, about being top of the world on YouTube. And what's going on in your world? What's going on over there?
I mean, lots of stuff. I mean, I keep talking
custom
about
firmware.
I'm trying not to get too technical on people right now, because that's all I want to talk about is these trials and tribulations of these companies not handing over source code.
Well, I know Android is one of Russ's favorites, and he's becoming a quick expert on it.
I'm still working on that.
But I've got that going on.
Maybe another video in the pike for that.
We're doing some restructuring with retro handhelds and looking at putting up a merch store in the near future. I'll be making stuff, so everything will be ethically sourced and will be handmade for the most part. So,
and no child labor or anything.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I mean, technically, my child, her labor will be in there, and it will be free. She will not be paid, but she wants to be there. She wants to learn how to do this stuff. So technically, there is child labor, but hopefully,
but it's like a wholesome dad way. Like,
I hope so.
That's like an apprenticeship. That's fine.
It's an apprenticeship,
right?
Yeah.
No, we warmed up. She made her first T-shirt today, with the heat press, right? And we got it warmed up, and the thing gets up to 320 degrees, right, to transfer the vinyl. And she was sitting there, standing back, going, "If I touch it, I'll lose my fingerprints. If I touch it, I'll lose my fingerprints." So we'll be making T-shirts and stuff, and no, it'll be good. Other than that, man, I've just been living life. I went to Universal Studios a couple weeks ago with my family. Took the camper, went out there for a week. Almost died in some weather on the way back home. That was a lot of fun. And
ouch.
Yeah, just hanging out with you guys now, listening to what you're up to.
Well, I'm glad to have you back from vacation. I missed you very much while you were away. I attempted to be both Stubbs and Thor on multiple occasions, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't fake being any sort of dev, but I did help Turtle out, as you know, with a couple of things. And I'm like,
I do.
I can do these little tasks in small segments if I Google what the hell I'm talking about, which is I don't usually know what I'm talking about. That was fun. So thank you for returning to us and not being blown away in a storm on the way back from Universal Studios.
Yeah. It was it got a little close there. It started sleeting and snowing at the same time in Kentucky on the way.
No,
those good times.
No, don't leave your house anymore. That's what I recommend.
I won't. I'm not leaving my house for a long time. We've got handhelds to make custom firmware for. We've got storefronts. We've got RH to manage. I'm not going anywhere. Not for a long time.
we are moving maybe, so we will be leaving the house.
Oh,
so we're looking. We have 3 kids now, so we're starting to. And we share our office and our nursery and our master bedroom, which is all this room. And we're starting to see that that's going to be cramped really fast. So I think we're going to try to find a bigger place. And we'll see how it goes.
Change all around. Yeah. I'm doing the same, like as I'm moving towards full time, I'm working on a studio and that'll be like my workplace. And so just getting that all ready to go, and I'll like go there to work every day and then unplug and come back home, that kind of thing, and just try to get a good balance. Cause right now I don't have a balance. I'm in a spare bedroom in the house and it's just rough. And so, I'm looking forward to that, but it's going to be a rough transition, but yeah, it'll be fun.
You've got this.
I as well am having some housing transitions. We're trying to get our home renovated, and nobody will show up for anything.
COVID.
To make appointments. And stuff. No, it's not even COVID. They just won't show up. Well, so I finally got pissed off and dropped $500 on architectural CAD software this morning, and then spent 10 hours redesigning my home today.
Oh my gosh!
You just took on the work yourself and figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
You're a madman, Thor. I respect it. I don't know how you find time to sleep, but that's awesome. You sent me those blueprints too before we hopped on the cast, and I was like, "Wait, what are you doing?" So that is really cool.
I gotta keep my mind.
We thought about renovating our house, but it's awesome. Yeah. But we realized like we have to find another place to stay if we renovate our house, and with kids this young, it's nah. We'll just move. It's fine.
Yeah. And you got to protect your handhelds too. You got to have a nice, safe place for them. No rain, no humidity.
Yeah, I'm buying just like
that's important, but
a clean room like Intel has.
I'm clean room,
just a big sterile vault that I walk into. Everything is pristine. I already am so OCD about it. I have this like tower of shelves that has microfiber cloth lining along each shelf, and I can seal each shelf off, and it's ridiculous. Like I'm gonna start wearing gloves, like white gloves, like I'm putting together like something from the Da Vinci Code here pretty soon. So.
Did you guys see the new Aya Neo Next or whatever they're calling it? They send you gloves with the box to unbox it with. You're supposed to put gloves on.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so I've seen a couple unboxings.
This is ridiculous.
It is so weird to see ETA Prime wearing gloves, by the way. Super weird. I mean, he's always got those Band-Aids on his hands for some reason, but when he's wearing gloves, it is weird. And so, and I may or may not be getting one in the next week or so. And so
really,
I'm not putting on them damn gloves. Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the like second tier of like shipments because we've been talking a long time about me getting one of their older models. And so finally we hooked up, and I was like, oh, send me one of your old ones, because that's like it's a good solid $800 price point. Like I can talk about that. And then they were like, the other day, they were like, oh, you know what? Instead, we're going to do you one better. We're going to send you the one that's $1,500. And I'm like, that's not going to work. Like that is so far beyond my price range. Like, I don't know what to say about this other than just like, it's super awesome. If you can afford it, then I envy you. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the position I'll be in. So,
it seems like people are talking more about these Aya Neos. Like Taki's top 10, he had the Aya Neo Pro or something at the number 1 spot.
Number 1, yeah,
in front of the RP2 Plus, and I'm like, that threw me for a loop. I'm like, are you doing this just to be contrarian? Like, what? Why is that at number 1? Is that truly the best price to performance?
The Pro is what, 8 times the price of the RP2 Plus, right?
Yeah, easily. Yep.
I mean, geez,
and it's sure, it'll do all the things, right, that the 2 Plus can almost do. But that gap in what you get out of it versus what you pay into it is so wide, and I'm not the kind of guy who wants to go to that level of the spectrum. I want to kind of stay on the lower end and see what we can do with what we have,
Yeah. So I imagine
really good
Aya Neo Next.
About buying my Miyoo Mini.
Yeah, that's
you got
great for the price.
Yeah. You got the dingy gray, right?
Oh yeah. The filth gray.
I think it's called cigarette smoke gray.
cigarette smoke gray. I know. Just I love that. I love it. It's so DMG aged 15 years.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I almost think of it just as old NES, because I get the old DMG part of it, but that really does look like a super old NES too.
Really old NES you've had in your mom's attic for 15 years.
But I mean,
I'm excited for you,
what,
Thor.
$50 for the mini.
Yeah.
And then you got the Neo Pro is $800 plus shipping or whatever, right?
Yeah. And the Neo Next is $1,400 to $1,500. Yeah. And it's great. It's got 2 terabytes of storage. Beautiful. But what are you going to do with that?
I feel like, you can run literally anything, including PS3 games at max graphics. But it's at some point, it's so sterile and cold. Much like this GPD XP. It's just like it doesn't spark joy for me. Like an RP2 Plus does. The RP2 Plus, I know it can't do everything, but it's so damn easy to pick up, and it has a touch screen. So navigating Android's easy, and of course the Neo I'm sure has a touch screen, but it's a Windows handheld, right? So you're having to manage an antivirus. You're having to manage like getting hacked and all of Windows updates that pop up in your face and blue screens, and you're doing thermal throttling, and you're in the BIOS like messing with stuff so the TPU settings are correct.
Yeah.
I don't, like I had the Win 3. It's too much. I already have been an IT guy for much of my life. I feel like I'm at work when I'm on a Windows handheld.
Yeah.
The Steam Deck really is my limit, because the Steam Deck at least is running Linux. So you boot it up and it plays a Steam game.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how I approach this, and some of it's on me, right? For example, I have zero interest in emulating Xbox 360 or PS3. Like for me, like my cap is PS2 and below, because if I'm going to play Xbox 360, like I'll just play it on the Xbox. Like there's no barrier there for me enjoying those games. And so because of that, I don't really have that kind of drive to test those. Now 3DS and Nintendo Switch, I can see that as kind of being a thing of wanting to emulate and stuff. And obviously Wii U is a big thing for me. But so I don't like, if it can play 1080p of GameCube or Wii or PS2, like that's up to my upper limit, And so certain PC games will be kind of cool, playing Hades or something on a handheld will be awesome. And that's what I was really looking forward to with the Steam Deck. And I think honestly, what the Aya Neo devices have that the Steam Deck doesn't, besides being almost double in price in some respects, is they're available. And that's kind of a big thing, right? If you're willing to pay for the convenience of having something now, then okay, I can see the value there. I just don't know about the rest of it. We'll see.
Well, when does the Aya Neo Next come out? Is it already up
March?
So you can pre-order it now?
I don't know about pre-order. It's been announced, and they're saying shipments in March. I think they're going to do a crowdfunding or something similar to that. They've told me mine is a prototype, so it's like not the actual thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it, especially because it's so far past what you normally review performance-wise that it's like you're going to have to like go find yourself some PS3 games or something to benchmark, right?
Yeah. Like I don't even have a PS3 ROM library, because it's not.
I don't keep one either.
So
yeah. Well, they don't have compression for PS3 games yet, or for like Xbox games. You still have to run the full uncompressed ISO files,
right?
And it's like I don't have the money to store a library of PS3 games. That's crazy.
And so many have been ported to PC. It's very rare. I mean, okay, Uncharted games, like the first 3 or whatever, sure, but I'll play those on the PS4. Like it's I just don't get it. So
you can upscale those on the PS5. There's the new Uncharted like series remake, game of the year, game of the decade bundle that's like 5K upgraded.
Right.
I tend to see Aya in this space as like Alienware, right? For gaming PCs. It's an ultra premium, but that nobody I know has actually bought it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like somebody out there is buying it. Somebody out there is supporting this company. It's happening, but nobody I know personally.
Yeah. And I don't think that the kind of people who watch Retro Game Core videos either. So So I'm fully expecting that I'm going to release this video and I will get 1,000 comments of people saying this is too expensive. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I said that 10 times in my video.
Correct.
So,
it's very expensive, much like the GPD XP is the top tier Android device. It's too expensive. It's ridiculous. It's very well made, and it plays probably anything you want to play on it. But I think I'm going to send it back. It just
I remember when the pricing for that thing was announced, and everybody just went, "Oh God, no! Like what? No, hell no!"
And then it's it's worse than what you thought. Yeah. Whereas the 552, the 552 ended up being a little cheaper than what we all thought. So that's while still being very expensive.
Right. Yeah, people are just so stuck on, just kind of comparisons and context and stuff. We had some friends visiting the other day, and we did like an outdoor dinner thing with them, and they know nothing about whatever. And they're like, so what are you going to do when you retire from the Navy? And I was like, oh, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. They're like, you do a YouTube channel? Like, that's the level we were at, right? And so we talked about it a little bit, and I just kind of like, you can play Nintendo games on things. I just kind of had to dumb it down, right? And so I brought them out the 552, and I was like, okay, take a look at this thing. And because I knew, like, scaling wise, it would look really impressive and stuff. And they loved it, right? I just put on Mario World or whatever. And they go, how much is it? And I go, well, and I'm like cringing, and I'm like, it's $227.
Right? They're probably like, cool.
Oh, that's it? Yeah. They're like, wow. Where do I buy it?
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's the price of a Nintendo Switch Lite. I mean,
right. Exactly. And to them, it's like, and wait, there's 10,000 games on this? Yeah, you can put whatever you want on there. And it's $227. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Like,
are they going to buy one?
It's all about context. Oh yeah, they wanted to just buy that one off me, And I'm like, no, you can't have this one.
Well,
we're starting to see those show up in the marketplace channel.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, that's
for people outside the know about this, about performance versus price and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure if you showed somebody a 552 and showed it running like Metroid Fusion or one of those really awesome GBA games on it, they'd be like, oh, hell yeah. I mean, my in-laws had me get a souped up Game Boy Advance for my brother-in-law. And I told him originally it was going to be $300 because I was going to have to order one of the pre-made ones, right? To get him the color scheme that he wanted. And they were just like, sure, whatever. Okay. Yeah. I'm sitting there going, I feel like I can get this for like half that somewhere from somebody, which I ended up doing. But at the same time, they're just like, yeah, $300, whatever. Let's go. For Game Boy Advance.
It's kind of funny how long we've all been sort of in COVID lockdown, like learning about handhelds together. I started in 2020. And like when I'm around the Discord, half the time I feel like a dummy. I know some stuff, and I obviously talk on this podcast all the time, but so many smart people are in there who just have specs memorized and time is art with the spreadsheet. And then I go like to Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas, and I talk to my family or a friend. And they're like, "Oh, what are you up to?" And I casually bring up retro gaming, and they're like, "Oh," and we get into the talking about it. All of a sudden, it's like I guess I know a crap ton about this stuff.
You're like a wizard to them. Right.
I'm like, I guess I'm like Mr. Oz, behind the curtain. My brother's like, no, tell me more. And I showed him the podcast, and he's like, whoa, this is cool. And I'm like, oh, I guess I've been learning a lot in the last couple of years about this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, when my first videos were about like right around when the Retroid Pocket 2 and the RG351P came out, right? And my first impressions video with RG351P, I called it a 16:9 display like 4 times because I did not understand, that it was 3:2 and what that meant or any of those.
What does that mean?
Things, right? And so we each have probably come a long way ourselves just in the past couple of years, just being part of this. Like I understand all that stuff now, but at the time I just didn't take the time to look up what the heck is the aspect ratio of this device. I didn't know, you know what I mean? And I just assumed because it was a little wider than what I was expecting, there's only 4:3 and 15 and 16:9. Those are the only aspect ratios available on any display on the planet. That's
apparently not.
Yeah, apparently
it's like
not.
5.3.
Well, I got called out
all sorts
by Taki directly, and then a couple of other people actually in my DMs about saying that the KTR1 had a 4:3 screen when it actually is supposed to be having a 3:2 screen. Right?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And I was like,
you fucked up, Thor.
I know, I fucked up.
Can't believe it.
I
can't believe it, man.
So no, like I had people
this is
in
ridiculous.
my DMs being like, literally one of the guys said, "Hey, you messed this up. You should fix this." All right. I mean, it's changed,
we had to
6 times,
We had to do like a retraction on the next podcast. We had to like take a minute and be like, all right, Thor, make a correction about the aspect ratio. And then Russ, I've only ever heard you do one blunder, and that was calling Mega Man X Mega Man 10.
Yeah.
And then you did it twice.
I know. And
now
then
it's like a joke, right?
I accidentally said Final Fantasy X once instead of 10. And it's like, I just can't get that letter/number correct. It's all good.
And it's all correct. All of it counts. It's just that like having the context of growing up and playing the game, hearing it said differently is just like jolting. And so that's why
in my next in my next video, I put Mega Man 10 in there and I said 10 or X, sorry. See, I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
And then in my little thing at the top where I show the name of the game, I put EX to make sure people knew that I was saying X and not like 10. And that's probably a game, Mega Man EX. You know what I mean? I don't even know. It's probably some
Battle
Game Boy
Network
Color game. Yeah, see?
Battle Network
and
EX.
So I was just like, oh, whatever. I'm just going to have fun with it. Who cares?
I don't know shit about fuck, man. But I pretend. And I try to correct myself, and I just watch Discord a lot. So I learn from people on Discord because they're constantly typing, and they always correct each other. There's always the guy who jumps right in, and he's like, hold on. Technically, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm going to store that in my brain, and then I'm going to sound smart the next time I talk about this in the podcast. Right. So, but then it all falls out of my head if I go away. So,
like as soon as you fall asleep.
As soon as I fall asleep, it's done and it doesn't matter anymore. I keep really weird facts in my brain for years, though, that just don't matter,
Yeah.
So it's interesting being part of all this. And at the end of the day, to me, it's still like just emulation is magic. Just that's what it comes down to. Emulating something that isn't supposed to be run on something like one of these handhelds is just magic.
It still is to me, I was getting a little bit embittered with, I got 50 handhelds or something at this point. It's ridiculous. And when the 552 came out and I turned on my first Game Boy game that was accurately scaled at 7x resolution, it was magic again, and I tried to convey that in the videos. It's just like, I get all the other stuff. I get the noise. I get all the things about how it doesn't do well in certain ways, but it gave me some magic for a moment. And not a lot of handhelds are doing that anymore. And so I do try to grasp that sometimes and keep hold of that feeling the first time I played something like that.
Yeah. For me, I got a little bit bitter too, or just jaded or whatever. Just so many handhelds have come out in last year, 2021. That's weird saying 2021 is last year. But so many handhelds came out that I'm like, okay, and this one plays, PSX at 2x resolution, fine, whatever. But the RP2 Plus came out, and this one had the clouds parting for me. This one, I felt magic just playing NES games on it even. Like, for some reason, the form factor and the look of it and the whole experience, I was playing some of my favorites. I was playing Mario All-Stars and Mario Kart on SNES, and I'm like, this is that feeling when I was a kid for a while, for like an hour.
Yeah.
It's that feeling again. And I haven't had that since probably late 2020. So sometimes they still do it.
I had that same moment with my 2 Plus, and it was with Shenmue or whatever, however you say that. I don't know how to say that name.
I think
on
that's
the Dreamcast, where I was like, this is how it's supposed to be. I never had Dreamcast, right? But when it's 640 by 480 and it was playing smooth, there's no crackling or whatever, I got in, like, I've seen that intro video several times because you can't skip it, and I actually watched it. I was like, I'm in it. You know what I mean? Like, they just killed my dad. You know what I mean? Like, I was mad. And so, and so I had that moment with the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus recently, which was kind of cool.
And then you walk down the street to the gotcha machine and take out the Sonic balls.
I got as far as talking to that little girl, and I was like, okay, I'm good.
I felt that way with the 351V. No, I test this stuff constantly, right? With the ROMs and the custom firmware and all that stuff. I mean, constantly. I have the same like 5 games that I use over and over again, and one of them is Legend of Dragoon for the PlayStation. And there was something different about loading up Legend of Dragoon at 640 by 480 with that nice ass 351V screen and the good sound, and it just everything felt right about it, you know. And I actually got lost in it and managed to make my way through most of the first disc before I was like, "Oh crap! I've been playing this for 6 hours,
You've been playing,
you know, or 7 hours."
That's the good stuff. That's why we do this. Like, it's few and far between those moments happen for me these days. And when it does, and you get lost in the game, it is so cool. Like that's, and it's amazing that we can play any game we want of like 65,000 ROMs that are out there. And yeah, it takes me back.
So I'm pretty sure my next magic moment is, so months ago I bought the Mr. FPGA, like the little box, you know, that you can play things. I haven't opened the box yet. I'm just not ready, and because I know it's going to sour me on some things, you know, and so I'll get there. You know, I'm also building an arcade cabinet, and I think that's going to be another magical moment for me too.
That'll be fun.
I got like an arcade 1-up one, and I bought all the parts to basically do a full refresh: new screen, new buttons, new joystick. I'm going to put in a mini PC, make my own software and everything else, but just haven't tackled it yet because that's a lot of work for one video or 2 videos. So
the Mr.
But if you have fun, it's not work.
Amazing,
right?
You know, it just seems truly like really fantastic hardware. And the thought of loading up ActRaiser and having it be cycle perfect.
Yeah.
Woo!
I know. No. Can you imagine like Super Mario 3 if they had ever made that? That would be amazing.
And I will notice no difference between that and running it on a V90. So
So I bought a CRT to kind of go with that whole thing. I found a guy on Island who even soups them up. Like he goes and he reconfigures the settings, he changes out stuff, you know, fixes the bulbs, all that kind of stuff. So I went to his house, and that's like super shady. First of all, going to someone else's house to like look at their CRT TV, but we did it. And he had a Mister sitting on his desk, and I go, is that a Mister? And I was instantly cool in his book, right? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, he pointed over, he had a whole cabinet full of old consoles. And he goes, it's replaced all of these. He's like, I'm not an emulation guy. I'm a retro gaming guy. And this thing has done it, you know? And so that's the day I bought the Mister. It's like, because I wanted the CRT anyway, just to kind of see what it was like, but I was going to get a Mister eventually. I bought the Mister that day. I was like, okay. And so, just haven't jumped into it yet.
I wonder, okay, so I haven't had one yet, so I don't truly know how I feel. I bought things like the Retron, which are supposedly like, they're still emulating. You know, they're putting real cartridges in, but it's still emulation.
Yeah.
So I ordered the Analogue Pocket, and I'll be interested to see how I feel about that. I bought it because I assume it's going to be hacked and I can run ROMs on it in a year.
Yeah.
But I might get sucked in. I might go out and start buying Game Boy cartridges or something. And that's my greatest fear.
Yeah.
So
that
my wife's greatest fear too.
That is some quicksand right there. You're going to get in over your head quick. So.
Come on, ROM hackers.
We had a user that fresh started collecting N64 cartridges about a year and a half ago. All right. He had no N64, none of that. And he had a list of everything that he could possibly get. Dude, he went in the hole thousands and had like half the collection.
Yeah. I won't let myself do it. I know how I am, and I will get in so deep. And so I did that with like vinyl at one point. I did that with comic books, like not doing it, you know. So I'm just gonna. I same thing. I bought the Analogue Pocket, but then I also bought the, what are they called, the EverDrive or whatever.
Yeah.
So all told, because I bought the dock for the Analogue Pocket and everything, that's like $600 between all that kind of stuff, right? And so we'll see how that all plays out. I may end up just making some videos on it and then selling it to somebody at a discount just to make some of that money back. I'm not sure how much I'm going to love it. Everyone, I see the thumb.
Thor hasn't bought one yet.
I think everyone escape it. Every one of the videos that I've watched everybody loves it so much, right? And I'm the kind of guy who loves things, right? Like I'm not the kind of guy who just poo-poos on something. And so
you go deep, you go hard.
Yeah. And so I might fall in love. We'll see.
We'll see. I got the white one while I was at it because I'm like, that is so clean. It looks just so like an iPod from like the early 2000s.
I could never bring myself to buy a white handheld ever.
Never.
Ever. I love them.
Never. I switched hard when the PS5 came out. That's when I switched because I'm like, look at that, 2. the Panda Max 2. I have almost bought the Max 2 on a number of occasions. It's just like, I don't like that it has the ergo. The same thing with the XP. It has that kind of ergo bump on the back.
Yeah.
And for me, that I want to be able to set it flat, and I'm sure it's comfortable, but I'm just trying to think of excuses to not spend $100.
It does sit flat in the sense that the shoulder buttons are the same distance out, and so it does sit flat when you sit it down. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit elevated.
Is that one stacked shoulder buttons?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yep. They're nice.
But it's a 3326, you know?
Yeah.
That's my big hope for all these.
Does it have Wi-Fi?
This next generation of handhelds that they start putting analog triggers on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the downsides of the Max 2, I can talk you out of it if you want. It's
talk me out of it.
So the Wi-Fi is not great. It's 2.4, but it's
I'm already on AliExpress right now. Please stop me.
And then the operating system, like it can play Emulec and it can do RetroWAS, but RetroWAS unfortunately just isn't as fully developed as something like 351 Elec, and so or ArcOS. And so this one in particular, the analog sticks are reversed on it from the original inputs. Like if you were to just load up Emulec, all of the analog sticks are going to be reversed. So in some apps, you know, in RetroArch, you can just go in and change them, right? But in the other ones, like standalone emulators, it won't work. Or with streaming and stuff, you have to go into the code. And so RetroWAS has some fixes for it, but not for every game. And so there will be certain games where you won't be able to play it, and it's super frustrating. So
I'll pass. I have so many 3326 devices. I can't. You know
it
what
is
my favorite
easily
one is?
Though. MP, I'm going to say. Oh, just the
old P.
Oh,
just the P with the Wi-Fi. With the Wi-Fi added in.
Oh, nice. Yeah. The Mario 64 on the Max 2 is the best Mario 64 I've ever seen. I mean, it is amazing, but it is one game, and I've never played past the first level, so who knows?
Do you just run around the castle, or do you at least jump into the first star?
I go in the first one, the bomb one. You know, I throw the bomb guy around a few times, and then sometimes I'll race the turtle. I'll come back and do that, and I'm done. So,
you know, you can speedrun that game in about 40 minutes.
Oh, really?
or so. There's a couple of glitches you can use. My wife, Cathonix, she learned the speed hacks because it was our first game of the month in the server like a year or two ago. And she's like, I'm going to beat Mario 64. And I'm like, okay. And my buddy is a speedrunner, and he taught her. And she watched him play it through. He's like, all right, here's what you do here. And she duplicated that and did all the same hacks.
Yeah.
And like jumped through walls and beat the game in about 40 minutes. So,
wow.
That's crazy.
But did she have the same sense of accomplishment after doing that?
She felt pretty damn cool. Yeah. I tried it too, and I couldn't do it. I'm like, how do you get Mario to glitch in the corner of this level and then go into the sky at 1 billion miles an hour, leave the level, and then land in this other part which bypasses half the game? She's like, I don't know, you just do it. You just be good. You just stop being bad.
Get good.
Get good.
Get good. And I'm like, oh, I'm still stuck in Mario 64. I've been playing it for 2 years. Yeah, you know, I watched Sonic 3 speedrun videos because I was trying to speedrun Sonic 3 for the game of the month because I'm like, I'm going to save some time and be smart. I suck at speedrunning, so I just played the game really badly, and I beat it in like 5 hours. So that's pretty good.
Hey, you beat it.
I felt good. Yeah. So, all right. We talked about lots of cool stuff. Talked about handhelds. Are you still excited for the Odin? That's starting to ship this week, by the way?
Yeah, I think I'll be in those first shipments. I never got contacted for a review unit, but I did order a black one of the Pro. Like I ordered a couple of them, but in particular, I picked the ones that I thought were going to be their standard units because I thought those would ship sooner. And sure enough, I was correct. And so, and they also said they're going to fulfill in the order of the orders received. And I was probably one of the first 10, if not 20 orders for that Black Pro. And so in that sense, yeah, I think I will get it pretty soon as they ship it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see. I mean, it might do all the things that I was hoping the XP could, you know, in terms of streaming, and it's wide enough I can play it in bed maybe. And yeah, analog triggers. Yeah.
I'm keeping my hopes tempered because if it's disappointing at this point, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm not okay with it. I'm just, there's been so much rumor and back and forth on this handheld and so much surrounding it that I want to try to just have fun with it no matter what the experience is. I'm going to attempt to just enjoy it like I'm a kid.
Yeah. And you know, honestly, I see comments like on their Indiegogo page, people will be like, oh, I can't believe you didn't get Russ a unit or whatever. And it's like, I'm not mad in any way about it. I just wanted to help. Like, I wanted to be able to say, give me one early and I will tell you all the things that I find about it. And then you can make an assessment of whether or not that's something you want to address or not. But let me help, you know. And I just didn't get that opportunity, which kind of sucks because now I have to basically just take it as it is and say, okay, this is what I like and don't like about it. And I didn't have an opportunity to change it. Not that I can do that with any other handheld, but this one in particular seemed pretty special, you know.
It does seem special. I got an email from Nicole from AOIN yesterday, and apparently I used they had some sort of contest where you maybe using a referral code or something like that. And they said I sent enough referrals around and they're engraving my Odin apparently.
Oh,
which I didn't know that was a thing. And I don't know where I posted this link, or I don't remember, but I'm like, okay. They're like, we're going to write Peter on it. And I'm like, no, my name is Stubbs. That is my retro emulation name.
That's my born name.
That's my born name my mother gave me. And thank you. And also thank you very much. And I'm just happy to help. I don't know how I got that engraving, but that'll be neat. Maybe other people will get that perk too. So
yeah, I know they had like a referral thing with theirs. I chose not to use it personally, just because of conflict of interest. I didn't want people to think that I was getting a kickback in any way for promoting.
Well, now
thing,
I feel like a butthole, Russ.
No, I'm not saying that you're doing that.
Well,
I'm not saying
I could have done that. I'm sure I was doing that at the time, but I don't remember now. It's been a lot, and I just had a baby, and my brain is just mush.
It's all good. Yeah. I mean, I do use affiliate links for things, you know. That's the thing I do to kind of afford to be able to buy all the other handhelds. So it's the thing. It's just a business.
We need to get affiliate links here on the podcast. We're at about that point where we need to start. How does one even ask to go ask someone like, hey, let us make you money and make us money too?
Yeah, Ovaltine or whatever ads.
Yeah, we would love to sell. I would love to sell Ovaltine. Okay, I could shill Ovaltine all day. It's great. It's good for the prostate. It's good, right? It has a lot of vitamin E.
Fiber, I think. Yeah.
Fiber. It runs. I think it runs retro achievements. I can't be sure. And my grandmother was all about it. So.
Well, I still get emails from Raid Shadow Legends all the time. So if you want their email address, I can send it over to you.
No. It'd have to be something that we would like, that we would believe in, right? And no, I don't. We always wonder, like, should we be shills one day? And I just. No, we just want to really express what we love and be passionate.
We kind of go back
about what we do.
Yeah.
Should we
to shill? Yes or not to shill?
Should we do this? No.
So I had an opposite experience. Yeah. So maybe 3 weeks ago, I posted a video about, you know, the Super Console X guys, right? They send me these things and it's kind of, I'm wishy-washy about them. I understand the value in people who don't want to deal with emulation. They just want a thing they can plug in like a Nintendo and just start playing, right?
Yeah.
And they try their best to kind of emulate that experience. And so I do, like, I choose to make those videos, you know, and like them or hate them, like those are kind of one of the things that I just kind of like to address. And so I'm not like avoiding them, right? But they sent me this hard drive that is just straight up a Windows like exFAT and NFTs like hard drive with Launchbox on it and a bunch of games. And you're supposed to just plug it into your computer and then install a bunch of like kind of shady things, right? And then launch Launchbox right on there. And as I started peeling the onion, I was like, wait, this Launchbox license is like the owner's license. Like it's got his name in it, right? And I was like, I'm not good with that. And then I didn't like the idea of installing stuff onto my home PC from China. Like, I understood what those files were and what they were doing, but all the same, just not comfortable encouraging people to do that. And then those games are just straight up on there, you know? And so, so I gave it a bad review, and I was like, even the title is like, why you should avoid this thing.
Right.
And I saw the other side of like working with a company. Got some emails. Mad? Yeah. They were like, take it down. And I said, I'm not taking it down. So, and you need to get a new license because I reported it. But yeah. And so honestly, I just told them, I said, you know what? Yeah. And it's not, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'm really just trying to say, hey, like there was a moment where I kind of went the opposite direction, where I realized that what this represented was not my channel. And so I had to decide between doing it on the channel or else just sending it back and saying no. And, you know, the comments were kind of split in half. Some people were saying, thank you for exposing this. The other half were saying, I can't believe you gave them a platform. And it's like, I don't know, you know, I never really figured it out. And they probably aren't going to send me anything in the future, but it was a really fun, kind of interesting project just to see how it all played off. And you know how internet works. Everyone forgot about it a couple weeks later. So
that's not fair, though, for them to claim that you gave them a platform. All right. I mean, it's not like you hid things. It's not like you took cash or anything like that from them to hide what was going on. I mean, you called them out.
Right.
That's not giving them a platform, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, but and I don't. I think you don't know that it's the wrong thing for what you're doing until you try it. So at least you tried it, and some, you know, I remember that day because at first people were like, "What is this?" and they weren't too stoked on it, and then I mean, Kinhank, right? It's Kinhank, right?
Kinhank,
this drive. I don't know. It was just so shady with the launch box stuff. That like a hard drive of ROMs, whatever. But the launch box license, it's like that's an actively developed software. And I get what people were saying, and I'm glad that you called them out, and I'm glad that they're pissed about it because they shouldn't be doing that. So that's good. You know?
Yeah, and you know, honestly, it's just a cultural thing. Like they did not understand why I was like not happy with it, you know. And I had to we had long email exchanges back and forth to kind of just show them the precedents they were setting and why this was different than a console that had things loaded on it. You're no longer just giving something for the lazy. You're actually like actively doing something that's harmful to others. And so they said, okay, well, can we send you one that has hyperspin on it instead? I go, no, like we're not going down this route anymore. You're not sending me any more hard drives. And so, yeah, it was just a weird place, but it was a learning place. And that's exactly what I do on the video or in my channel. You know, it's just like, let's try out something new and see how it works and see if it sticks. You know, if it's a projector or a random like monitor or whatever it happens to be, if I can make a fit for my channel, then I want to try it out and see how it goes.
I think that's fair. I mean, and it's just not very much fun just to review a hard drive anyways. Just a straight hard drive you plug into your PC that already can play games. I had one of those Kinhank 2 terabyte drives that I think had Batocera on it. It was the kind of cool retro cassette tape drive.
Yeah.
And it was lame. Like it played all the ROMs were in French for one thing.
Right. Because they pulled it straight from like Batocera and like the European community. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 65,000 games, but it was a bunch of duplicates. Pretty much all of them were French, all PAL ROMs.
Yeah.
They claimed to have a bunch of PS3 on there. There was like one PS3 game, like 5 PS2 games, and just a billion duplicates of like hacked Mario.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is just dumb, you know?
Yeah.
And I just gave it away to a friend. I'm like, here you go, man. You know, he was looking at getting a Super Console X, and I'm like, you know what? Why don't you just plug this into your computer? I'm not going to use it.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah, it's one of those things that even with that, I'm a little more comfortable because it's hidden behind a Linux file system. So you're not going to just be able to pull the ROMs right off that hard drive. So you're not just buying the ROMs, you're buying the operating system experience, right? And those who know how to like run Linux and stuff, they know how to build their own ROM library. They're not going to need that anyway. And so that makes more sense to me. But when it's just like a Windows hard drive, like there's a line there. So.
Yeah, there is. Well, I'm glad you found your kind of your line in the sand of like, okay, I'm not going to step into this territory anymore. I'm going to sort of, and the same thing with the Neo Next. It's kind of like that's probably like your top tier of where you're going to stop with handhelds, unless they make some sort of crazy Razer device that's $6,000. And if they sent it to you, I bet you'd make a video. But
sure. But yeah, it's a weird place to be at too. I'm waiting for that blowback when I do the Aya Next, and people are going to be like, "You're just saying nice things about it because you got something for free, right?" And
sure,
I don't know. There's no personal. I don't have a personal conflict with that kind of stuff. Maybe it's the 22 years in the military kind of thing. Like, I just trust that people know that I'm going to do things with integrity, right? And I've been at the pinnacle pay grade in my specialty for 7 years at this point. Like that's like what I have to embody every day. And so, I'm looking forward to some of those comments of people just kind of being skeptical about that and how I can change their minds, And so, because it is weird, right? I'm going to get this thing that's over $1,000 for free, and then I have to kind of nitpick it and talk about how I feel about it. And it can be colored potentially by the idea of getting something for free.
Yeah. I mean, okay. This Indigo RP2 Plus I got from Retroid for free for the podcast review. And I will say I probably gave it a little more of my attention than I would normally give any other handheld. Probably because I got it for free, I felt sort of a responsibility. Like I want to do a full report on it.
Yeah.
But I did not hold back on my negatives of and complaints about this device. And I still don't. But I did probably give it more time, like a solid week deep dive, because I'm like, I want to, this feels really cool to have something, and it's pressure to be asked for a review on it. But it's just, I would say $100 value device for free isn't enough to skew me to ever say something that I don't believe in.
Yeah. So to give you a good,
even $1,400, I think.
Right. So to give you a good example, so the other day I reviewed this little guy, the Q36 Mini, and this is basically like a funky S that's been reskinned by Powkitty. This thing I did get for free from Powkitty, and I think it retails for $50 or $60, right? But I did the math, and it took me, I actually tracked it, it took me over 20 hours to make that video, right? 20 hours of solid work. When I could have been doing like whatever, right? Like hanging out with my family or whatever it happened to be. And I exhausted myself. Like I ran into all sorts of technical problems that didn't even count towards my 20 hours. But like in exporting the video, like I had errors, I had to re-record things. There's just all this stuff that happened beyond even the 20 hours. So 25, 30 hours is probably more accurate. That's like $2 an hour that I'm getting paid to do this, right? So there's no return on that. And sure, I'll put an affiliate link in there and I'll get like $1 or $2 if someone buys one off my link. But those numbers aren't going to be there either. Like there's so much love for these things that I'm okay with that. If it's a $60 device, a $1,400 device, it gets the same amount of work for me. So
it's not like Powkitty comes to you and is like, "Did you give us a good review? Did you review us well?"
Oh yeah, that they I don't think they watch them. They just go and they say, can you please let us know the link after you've made the video? And I usually wait a couple days so it gets some good views, and I send it to them like, hey, look, it's doing pretty well. They see the amount of views and they go, thanks. That's it. Like we have no discussion about like whether or not any of my critiques or whatever are going to be followed up on. There's none of those.
I'm glad that's like just a standard thing, because Retroid the same thing. I'm like, hey, look, it's doing really well. Even the YouTube video was doing well, and they're like, oh, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
I gave like a week of my life to this. 2 weeks now.
Do you want to talk about it? I'm like, no.
Do you want to talk? Anything you want me to like correct? Anything I got wrong? They're like, good. Thanks for doing something.
Right.
Bye.
Yeah. And I kind of thought that was going to happen with the Kinhake video, but I think the title threw them off. They must have translated the title into Chinese and be like, wait, that doesn't make sense, So.
Oh, well. But they were like, we'll let you know when RP3 is ready.
Yeah.
I think another interesting part of this is that you wouldn't have sought out and purchased the Aya Neo on your own as well.
Right. And I said that about the XP as well. I said, this thing is out of my price range. This isn't something I would normally buy. And I didn't, obviously didn't pepper my review on that one either. And so I think what I will probably end up doing with some of those high-end ones, once I've kind of milked the content I need out of them, like the XP, I still have a couple of more videos I want to work on because like Black Seraph is working on a docking solution for that, so you can play it on your TV and stuff. So there's more things I want to do with it. But I think when I'm done with it, I'm just going to give it away. And that's like my way of saying, I'm not getting any money out of this thing. You know, just be on the lookout for some crazy giveaway at some point.
Yeah.
I probably won't give mine away. I'll probably give it back to Amazon. Thank you for the Amazon borrowing program. And not something I do normally, but for this, I just didn't, I don't think I want to keep it. But a few of my other handhelds, you know, we gave away in the holiday giveaway. Thor gave away his 552, the Madman.
Ooh, one of them.
Wow.
One of them, yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
So I actually ended up getting a second one. I wanted to see what the gray one was like, and I haven't made a screen debut of it, but I was like, I just want to see. I like the black one better, but
you do?
Yeah, I got both.
Is there a different texture on the black one?
No, same. Yeah, it's almost exactly the same. Same metallic finish. It's just the coloring, you know. So
yeah.
And I screwed up when I put the screen protector on my gray one, and so that makes me not like it as much. My fault.
Yeah,
that's a big screen protector. That's a lot of area to cover with the screen protector.
Yeah. It's not something I can just go out and buy.
I really like the silver, honestly.
Yeah.
I sent Rapid, the winner, the black one.
Yeah, here's people can look. There's that silver one. I like the look of it.
I like the black stripe around the sides of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Does have that two-tone. I got one speck of dust on the edge of the screen protector, and I'm looking to see if you can buy a replacement because I want to try to correct that.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts when one little speck of dust lands when you're putting it on. Ugh.
I think I am the worst applier of screen protectors on the
planet. Having an air compressor, helps.
Dude, it's not even that. It's there between, because I peel it while it's next to the screen once the screen is perfect. All right, like it's peeled, you know.
Yeah, you peel it as you're going.
Right, but I know, but at that 3/4 of an inch that drops, 17 motes of dust appear under there. I don't understand.
How? Where does the dust come from? Like, you have a dog, right?
Well, yeah, but it's a poodle. She doesn't shed or anything like that.
Oh yeah, poodle shouldn't be as bad.
I let everything settle.
I do the same thing. I don't know where the dust comes from, but we have 2 dogs, so I figured that's most of it. So I just I just hunch over my handheld. I get my canned air, so I spray it off. I do all the things the instructions say. I'm probably the best doing it on the Retroids. The Retroid's a nice small 4x3 screen, and I can kind of like keep my hands over it and just apply it really fast from the factory. And usually I'm good with the RP2 screens. These wide ones, I screwed up the XP so bad when I applied it. I'm like, nope, that's coming off. We're going protectorless.
Well, it was a plastic protector, right? Yeah, I didn't even do it.
Yeah,
I was like, it's plastic.
It's a garbage protector, and it got a bunch of bubbles under it, and like a dog hair was under it. And I'm like,
oh man,
no. I ordered a better one off eBay, like a tempered glass one. So I'm waiting for that.
Nice.
I get some kind of perverse satisfaction out of, once the screen protector is screwed, peeling it off, and then I can't help myself. I have to break it. The tempered glass, I have to break it in my hands just to finish it, just to say, this is the end of it. All right.
Yeah. I do that too.
I do that like too. A Hulk smash.
Right.
Because it's like, I can, what am I going to do? Throw this away as is? No, you're going to obviously show your true power over the tempered glass. Your Viking hands.
Right. I love
it. Well, guys, I think I'm going to eat some dinner. I don't know. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
I think it's about wrap-up time. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's about
wrap-up time.
I think we covered
we haven't
a lot
done
of
for
ground.
a little while.
What? Shit Talk Lightning Round?
Shit Talk Lightning Round.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
Okay, so Thor and I just end the cast
sometimes. One of our newer segments.
Where we just vent about something in our personal life or in the handheld scene or whatever, like that is grinding our gears, and we just vent for like 30 seconds to a minute. So if you think about something that's just grinding your gears right now, and let it come to you, go to your meditative space, and then just
I got mine already. I'm gonna go ahead and
what do you got? I don't know what mine's gonna be. What you go first?
Retroid, give me 2+ kernel source, please. God, Please, just give it to me. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody's going to rip off your fucking handheld. And even if they do, you already beat them to market by 6 months minimum, all right? Just give me the source code, please. God.
Yeah, we're not going to touch the Retroid launcher ever. We never touched the Retroid OS anything ever. We just want to make Lineage, right? We just want to make an option. You asked us to make that option, so we also need the source code for that.
They sent me 2 development devices, one for me and one for Turtle, and then won't give me the source code.
They're like, well, they want you to figure it out without the source code somehow. So,
well, we'll get it figured out eventually. It's just why this way? You sent me development units.
Yeah, I think there's a disconnect there, but I feel your pain, and I'm sorry. I do have to say, in the meantime, that they did a pretty good job with the stock OS this time. That Android 9. I mean, I'm happy in the meantime.
If they could allow us to have an editable launcher, that would be so much better. Like putting Sega Genesis and Saturn on there, and
simple
regular
stuff.
DS, but not just 3DS. Like, there's so many weird things to that. So.
There's a lot of work to be done there. I just tell people it's an alpha. I don't know that for sure, but I have to assume by the lack of options and systems that it's early. And it's called the RP3 launcher. In the code, it says it's RP3 launcher.
Right. It's all RP3 in like the actual names for the APKs and stuff.
So I get it. God, what am I? I'm just really hungry, man. I'm like really hungry for food right now.
That's his shit talk. Like he's sick of our faces because he wants to get food.
No, but I am. Yeah, I'm sure I'm old man angry about something. I mean, the XP obviously is a disappointment. I already knew it probably was going into this, but I just can't with the right side of it with the joysticks. I know. Okay, I got one. Miyoo Mini does have one flaw, and I'm sure it affects a lot of units before they upgrade the OS. It has a black screen bug. So after you exit a game, sometimes it will just fade the brightness down to 0, and it'll be stuck there until you pull the battery out. So I had that happen to me after literally any game I play on this thing, and it was driving me crazy. I was about to ask for a refund, and then I used a Chinese to English translation, and I went to their firmware page, and I found in a little tiny text file buried deep within their firmware files that said black screen fix. And I followed that and patched it up, and it does fix the issue, but my God, that was driving me crazy. And the speakers pop too. So there is another firmware update that fixes the speakers popping, which when translated to English, it says fix explosions. And that's good. It's good to fix the explosions with the device.
Yeah.
But once you get all that patched up, load on Onion OS, everybody. It looks like it's a really promising custom firmware for the Miyoo Mini. So that's my half-hearted shit talk. Russ, what do you got? What's grinding your gears?
The only thing I can think of is just this freaking coronavirus disease is really getting me. We in Hawaii have really had a huge spike, like way more than we ever had, like to the point where we're at mainland numbers, which is like crazy for us. We're mask wearers. Like in Hawaii, people wore masks before the coronavirus when they were sick, right? That's just a thing in the culture here. And so it's just really disheartening to see how many efforts the collective million of people in my state have been working on it. And we're now, we're just getting ravished by it. We're talking thousands and thousands every day. It's really disrupting things here. And so feel bad. For the longest time, we were kind of our little slice of paradise and kind of keeping things at bay, but it's really bad now. So that's my rant.
It is.
And I know everyone else is feeling that, and I feel it for everyone, and I'm really, it's getting hit hard now. And so even my wife's like our office, like everyone got cleared out, last week when she was out. And so now she's having to work extra because no one's around, all the same things that everyone else is having to deal with. And so that's my rant.
And I wonder if it's coming to Hawaii because like people are really like, okay, COVID's over. Let's go to Hawaii for a vacation. And then they're bringing, the Omicron variant over there and making it worse. whereas Hawaiians themselves seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, but the thing is, we need people to come. 1/3 of our economy is based on tourism, so we open our doors. Like, we need this travel to happen, and we knew this was a risk, and we're paying that price now. But it's just so disheartening. So.
We're ready for it to be done. We're hitting like 10,000 cases a day now as of this week here in Oregon, and it's madness. Like, they say if you catch this particular variant that it gives you some immunity for some of the tougher variants out there. So that's hopeful, but I don't want it, and no one should seek it out.
Right.
We're all exhausted, I think. We're done. We're ready for this thing to be done.
Yeah.
Little Wotan.
But we've got handhelds to play while we're stuck at home.
Yeah. Little Wotan. He got his antibodies from his mom. She got her last booster shot right before he was born. So happy for that. And we do have our handhelds, and we do have our games and families and lots of good stuff to keep us busy. But I'm sure we've lost some stuff too in this pandemic. I haven't gone to a concert. Like, I haven't played music live, like with my bass or my band or anything, in almost 3 years now.
Yeah, crazy.
My neighbor is asking me to jam. He's a drummer, and I'm like, yes, I don't care if you're good or anything. Just
right. Jimmy Buffett, let's do it.
Let's do it. He asked me if I knew any Sublime, and I was like, yeah, I'll play every Sublime song I know. I'll play What I Got until the cows come home. I just want to play music.
Okay, now Coldplay. Play some good. Coldplay.
Right.
I won't. There is a limit, sir.
There's a limit.
I leave that to Brad at the trailer dealership. His cover band plays Coldplay cover songs, and I leave that to him. He's out there blazing that trail for all the Chris Martin fans out there. So. All right. Well, with that, guys, I guess I'll take us out. Thank you so much, Russ, for joining us again. Thanks for just being with us, being our friend, and hanging.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Good to chat.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to this for several months now, so I'm really happy to get a part of it. Yeah.
Well, you are welcome to hop on any episode, anytime ever, or just hang out. You're always welcome. We love talking to you. You're just a regular guy. You don't, even after all this YouTube fame, it doesn't seem like it's ever gotten to your head. And that's cool. That's cool to see. It's gone straight to Thor's head, though. He's a maniac now.
Oh, yeah. I'm a nightmare.
He's
basically
a nightmare. He's wearing just diamond rings, just made of handheld parts. And
I hired a guy to carry me from room to room so I don't have to walk. Like Selena Gomez or whatever.
My kids, I got them Retro Game Core t-shirts for Christmas, and they wear those things, and they're like, "Oh, Dad, I've been telling people about your channel and stuff." They're all into it, and so it's been cool. Like that gives me more pride than the numbers. You know what I mean? Like, I love seeing people like really enjoying it, and I get some great emails from people being like, "Hey, you really helped me in a dark time." Like, I love that stuff. But my kids being like, "I'm proud of my dad." Like, it's not like they walked around like, "Hey, my dad got New York Times bestseller for his cookbook." Like, they didn't do that crap. They didn't even know, right? But for this, they're talking about it.
Yeah. Nice. Well, every Saturday is like my RGC catch-up day. And I just wake up and I hang out with my kids, drink my coffee, and I watch Retro Game Core videos. And it's always really, like, it's just part of my routine. And it's really warm. And I don't know if I'll be able to deal with the green mat changing, but I will try for you. And it's nice. We have that connection. Our son has the same name, except yours has 2 T's.
Yeah.
And I wanted to leave it unique for you. So I went with the 1 T.
I appreciate
on
it.
my
Thank
variant.
You. Yeah.
I know. So you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, guys.
Thanks everybody for stopping in again with us.
Yeah.
Make sure to check us out at retro-handhelds.com and check out our Patreon, patreon.com/retro-handhelds. And we've got some new YouTube content coming up too. So make sure to check that out.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess we should mention that real fast. Yeah. So we got the channel up. We got a couple content creators who are going to help us out and throw up a few tutorial videos and comparison videos. Basically everything that Russ doesn't normally cover. We don't really want to step on the review territory so much, but Just to kind of round out what we can offer as a community, and just there was random stuff. I'm singing a Christmas song in one of the videos. I don't know. So up on the new YouTube channel and enjoy it. And we'll see you guys next time. This has been BRB Gaming. See you next time.
Later, guys.
Bye, everyone.
And you thought I'd forget about our patrons. Not even a chance. We got some new patrons this month. Thank you guys so much for joining our Patreon and helping us do what we love. A few of you I'm not going to call out right now because you haven't connected your Discord accounts yet, so I don't know about you yet. So please go out and do that. Message me through the Patreon if you don't know how. I am happy to walk you through. But in the meantime, what do we got here? 24 Block, Acorns, Axerin, Sebion, Cathonix, Cognitive, Crazy Dave, Cryptnip, Damian Wright, Dogpog, Eames, Emplay, DOG, Flatfoot Fox, Jelanimal, Hav, Juicy, Liquid Divide, Mega Barracuda, Mr. Fost, Peakeg, Plaidman, Raven Mage, Retro Gamecore, RPG Bill, Dollar Bill, Setsuna Guerrero, Sweet Prince Scott, Thor, Totally Terry, Transients 8985, Volfani Bros, Wesmo, and Wonderful. Thank you all for being part of this and helping us do what we love. We love you, we thank you, and we will see you around on the next episode of BRB Gaming.